And we are live. Hello, my friends. My name is Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. One thing you haven't seen on my channel for a while is gardening. Why? Because it's been winter, but it's February. That means it's not gardening time yet, but it means that all of the Christmas stuff is out of the way. And now in Dollar Tree, they have Valentine's stuff, Easter stuff, and gardening supplies. Why is it important to buy gardening supplies when they first show up in Dollar Tree? Because when everybody's thinking about gardening, that's when all the stuff you want to get from Dollar Tree is sold out. And when you go to the big box stores like Home Depot or garden centers and stuff like that, it's like triple, quadruple, even more the price, right? So you can get these items so much cheaper at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to tell you which items are worth it. I have tried out some of the items, and some of them are not worth it in the gardening section at Dollar Tree, and some of them are an amazing deal, right? So I'm going to show you the ones that I got this year because I've tried out the potting soil in the past, and the potting soil was kind of a flop. The thing is, the potting soil, you get a small bag, and it doesn't have all that added extra nutrients in it that you need. And so I prefer to get the big bags on sale when they go on sale at Home Depot, and you're actually getting a much better deal and much better quality soil. So I do not recommend the potting soil at Dollar Tree because it's a small bag and it's low quality soil. From what I've seen, you might have a different Dollar Tree with different potting soil, and hey, if they had a jumbo bag for $1.25, I would be on that, right? Okay. This is one thing I really liked, which I already have like 4 or 5 of these, but these are nice to have on hand because, when they're Dollar Tree quality, they do break. So it's nice to have a few different ones, but I like having a hose spout with different options on there. This is a nozzle. Oh, sorry, it's a nozzle 7 pattern spray nozzle. This can last me if my husband doesn't break it with this lawnmower or something, this can last me a whole season, right? So I got a new one because, they're nice to have on hand, right? It's only $1.25. These, okay, so I have a better quality little shovel, but I actually got 3 of these for my kids because I'll tell you what. So when we go to the little fake beach, I live in Kansas, so fake beach, to dig in the sand, if I buy the plastic shovels and plastic pails at Dollar Tree, the plastic shovels break the first time. So I had an epiphany and I got my kids 3 of these. This is for digging in the sand. But if you're gardening on a budget, this can work really well for gardening as well. And you never know, I might grab it and use it as well. So this is really nice quality for $1.25. So this is called a garden shovel. Anyway, I got 3 of these for my kids. I might get one more for me. I don't know. But I've got a pretty nice quality one that I splurged on for like $10 that I use for gardening. But if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend $10, get one for $1.25, right? And I got the bigger one rather than the smaller one because that way you can scoop more sand into your bucket. This is why you want to look at your Dollar Trees now and not wait, because in past years, I really, really wanted to get these, could not find them. What are these? I'll show you. This is called a stackable 3-tier planter. So what you do is, it's got the spot right there for you to drill your hole or poke your hole. I would recommend using a drill and doing it really gently and lightly so you don't crack this bottom here. Do it real gently rather than pushing the hole through because you could crack it. So this plastic is pretty thin because it's Dollar Tree quality, right? So you want to be careful not to crack it. But if you do not crack it, which also you want to look through the stack and make sure you don't get one that's already cracked, because sometimes in shipping, the thin plastic can get cracked. But if you drill the holes, remember drainage holes are very important. And then you're going to stack them. It says 3-tier, so you probably don't want to stack them too much higher than 3-tier. There you go. I've seen them stacked higher than that, but I haven't yet used these. So this is amazing for growing strawberries in. I would not grow anything with a deep root in here, but things with shallow roots, make sure you put it in a sunny spot. So if you are a renter and you cannot dig and you need to container garden, this is an awesome option. I've seen ones where people had strawberries coming out of all sides of this, which I would definitely do strawberries. You could have cilantro or coriander, cilantro coming out of one side. You could do whatever you want. I actually have a stack of these that I bought at the end of the season last year, but I didn't get to pick the color. I just got whatever they had. This time at the beginning of the season, before the season starts, I got to pick the color. And so whenever I see them at Dollar Tree, I might get some more. The next thing is seeds, but I need to talk to you about these seeds, guys, because the seeds you pick are important, okay? Things like basil and cilantro, you can't go wrong. I like using basil and cilantro as my filler. Basil, okay, so these are things I like to freeze when I prune them back. You just harvest the leaves, right? So when you prune it, you harvest some leaves, you leave some behind. I freeze them in Ziploc bags and I use them for seasoning throughout the year, right? So basil and cilantro, I like cooking with those. I use them in soups. I use them in pastas. It's delicious, right? Also, the basil helps to attract like some of those bugs that you do want in your garden, and it helps disguise the smell of like tomato plants to keep some of those predatory bugs away, and also confuse predatory bugs. If you have predatory bugs that are on one tomato plant and there's basil or especially marigolds growing near the tomatoes, it helps confuse the smell so that they don't just like prey on all of your tomato plants and just totally wipe them out, right? So anyway, I love cilantro. Cilantro is also called coriander. When cilantro goes to seed, it's called coriander. And those seeds, you can easily harvest it because when it gets too hot, it starts to go to seed. Basil likes hot weather and does not do well in cold. And cilantro likes cold weather and goes to seed. It bolts is what it's called when it gets too hot, right? So this is cold weather plant, hot weather plant. I plant them both because I'm in Kansas, so it's kind of we get a little bit of both, right? The carrots you pick matter. A lot of the Dollar Tree carrots are these smaller dwarf-sized carrots. It'll say half-size carrot. If it says dwarf or half-size in the title, it's not worth buying because that's going to take up space in your garden and you're going to get a small little carrot, right? You're going to see the top of it and think it's going to be this big carrot, then it's going to be a short half-size one. The ones that are worth the space in your garden that are sold at Dollar Tree are called Scarlet Nantes. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Scarlet Nantes. Anyway, it's the one with scarlet in the name. Just when you pick out carrots, make sure the picture shows a big long carrot and make sure it's not called like half or dwarf because then that's the smaller types of carrots. All right, so I got some sunflower seeds. I like getting the mammoth sunflowers because then you get these huge, beautiful sunflowers from it and you get a lot more seeds from that. So then you can also harvest those seeds and reuse them, or you can use those seeds for a bird feeder, or you can roast them and eat them yourself, as I like to do. All right. There are a lot of different kinds of peas at Dollar Tree, but I prefer to snack on the sugar snap peas because they're sweeter. And they're the only ones I've ever grown, and my kids and I like them. So I wanted to make sure I got the same one as before because I want to keep my kids eating the sugar snap peas. My daughters do not, well, my daughter Deborah especially does not like eating regular peas, but she'll eat sugar snap peas straight off the vine. So I like growing them. And actually, I feel the same way about peas, except for if it's like in a stew or something. So these sugar snap peas, we grow them. They never make it into the house, same as our strawberries. We just munch on them out in the garden. All right. When you are purchasing green beans, pay close attention to the parentheses. Right here, it says pole beans. Now, green beans can grow, it'll either say bush or pole. It can either grow in a bush or on a pole. Now, if you do not have a structure for the pole beans to vine up and grow onto, you could get something and make something out of, you can make it free out of sticks if you have like long branches or something, or you could make something out of bamboo poles. But I already have my huge trellis that I grow on. So I want to grow green beans. Now, last year I was not successful with my green beans, and I'm not sure why. I suspect that I should not have planted my sunflowers next to my green beans, because the sunflowers root out and they take up all that space for the nutrients. So then the other plants die. Also, last year we did not have a lot of rain, and I didn't want to waste a lot of water on my garden at the very end of the season. So some of my plants just died from heat stroke because of lack of rain, and I didn't want to waste so much water on my garden at the end of the season when they were about to die anyway. Also, the area my garden's in gets a little shaded at the end of the summer with all the leaves growing on the trees above it. So I'm just going to try again. This time I'm going to water it whenever it needs it, and I'm not going to plant it near sunflowers. And I'm going to check and be sure to grow my green beans in the spots where the what was I going to say? Where there's not shade, right? Okay. The other thing I want to say is there's a lot of plants I'm going to plant that are not in this stack. It's either because I already have the seeds, or some plants are better for me personally to grow from starter plants, such as tomato plants. I like to buy the little starter plants, such as strawberries. Starting from, I experimented with starting from seed last year, and didn't have any success with that. You may be better at starting from seed than me with tomatoes and strawberries. Those ones are more difficult to start from seed. These ones are the ones that I can direct sow in the garden, and they will flourish because I have a few years experience with gardening now. I also like to get little starter plants of the bell peppers, because I tend to here's what happened. I started the bell peppers from seed, and they do fine, but they never really grow to the size where they are producing peppers by the end of the season. And that may be because it needs more sunlight, or, I saw my dad lives in Arkansas, right? Where it gets a lot hotter and where it's a lot longer season. His bell pepper plants were so much bigger than mine get to be. And I think that's because they have a lot more months to grow. And also, I think bell peppers love that heat, right? I also enjoy growing banana peppers, but I made a mistake. I like sweet banana peppers and not hot banana peppers. And so I've grown sweet banana peppers from the starter plant from the store in the past. And last year I said, "Oh, banana peppers, I'll get it." They were hot banana peppers. So my kids and I didn't really enjoy eating them. We kind of like ate them as a joke, kind of like, "Oh, this hot," But I want to grow banana peppers that are sweet banana peppers. What else do I want to grow? I want to utilize my trellis more this year. Last year, mostly it was a support for all of my sunflowers. I'm just going to have sunflowers in one section this year rather than all over, because I think the sunflowers kind of smothered out some of the other plants. Last year was my first time trying cucumber, and a friend of mine who's more successful than me at growing cucumber, she grew a lot. She told me the kind of cucumber that you grow really matters. So I see cucumber seeds at Dollar Tree, and I will see the starter plants at, at the big box stores. But I'm going to ask my friend again, what kind of cucumber do I need to grow? And cucumbers, I think, thrive with a little bit of shade, not too much direct sun. But again, I need to find out more details about that. In the past, I've been successful at growing watermelon, but I think the spot where I had my watermelon in was too shaded. It needed more sunlight. So anyway, just finding those spots in my backyard where it gets more direct sunlight, more hours, is important. At my old house, the soil was fine to plant in, and there was a lot more direct sunlight because there wasn't trees and stuff. At this house, the soil is a lot harder and stuff, so it has to be that store-bought soil that I'm growing in. I wasn't successful with potatoes or carrots last year And I think it was the lack of rain, might be partly because of the shade. Like I had really tiny carrots and really tiny potatoes. I'm going to try again, but I may just leave them in the ground longer, I guess. See what happens. So anyway, those are some of my plans, some of my things I'm thinking about with gardening. One thing I've bought in the past a lot is gardening gloves. And I don't know if you're like me, but I buy the gardening gloves and then I garden barehanded. I get those green thumbs that they talk about from pruning the plants. And you know what? I don't really wear gloves to garden unless I'm like removing like old plants from the trellis, and maybe I tend to not want to grow thorny things either. I'm going to see if my grape plant and my uh thornless, was it blackberry? Thornless blackberry bush and my blueberry bushes, I'm going to see if they survived the winter. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to plant more of them, Lord willing. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks so much for watching my haul. I'm starting to get in the mood for gardening. My husband doesn't know this, but I mean, he should expect it by now. I'm planning on building onto my trellis and making it a little bit longer. And adding 2 more. Every year my garden grows, okay? It's not my fault. I'm addicted to gardening. No, just kidding. I'm gonna add 2 more little garden beds and add 1 more part to my trellis. So my tunnel with I've basically got an arch tunnel with garden beds on the sides, and it's gonna grow a little longer. And the spot I'm gonna put it in is a spot where it's gonna get more sunlight and less shade. So excited for that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Oh, Laura's here in the chat box. Bye.